Hi, I'm Sophie.
Hi, I'm Paul, and we are
SP Film Viewers.
And I said, what about Breakfast at Tiffany's to review for this episode?
100% yes. Why wouldn't we review it, and why wouldn't we watch it? And also, why haven't you seen it?
That I don't really know, to be honest. I think it's just one of those things that's kind of like you with certain things in pop culture, you kind of just know is there, and it's...
You can't say that for that, though, because I'm completely different. I've hardly seen anything, whereas you are the movie guru in this relationship. So the fact that you haven't seen, I'm assuming it's like a classic.
Yeah, it's one of the like comedy, romance type early rom-coms, I guess.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why you haven't seen it. I'm surprised I haven't seen it, to be fair, for me. Especially my love now of old films as well.
Well, I've already got a feeling that you'll probably really enjoy this one.
I am. I'm really looking forward to it. And I think it's well overdue. I feel like I haven't had many that have been knockouts for me so far this year. I've had Monster March as well. And just, I feel like this one will be like my Singing in the Rain. Maybe not as good, but I think
hopefully we'll see, yeah.
The only other one I think I really enjoyed was
The Apartment.
And Little Shop of Horrors.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So far this year. So this one I'm really excited to watch.
Good. Yeah, I'm excited and intrigued by what it has to offer. The only thing I kind of know is that there's apparently some kind of like iffy, like it wouldn't pass today type of thing, sort of like some sort of racist.
Oh.
A bit like the if you remember from, was it The Holiday Inn? There's that particular sequence coloured the skin type thing going. I think it's something to along those kind of lines.
I remember watching something as well about something to do with the elevators, and there was certain different. Oh no, I think that was actually it was like a documentary kind of thing. Nina Simone, where there was certain elevators back in the day of like white people could only be in this elevator, which just seems mind.
Most like the
dumbfounding,
Rosa Parks thing with the bus and that's kind of I
can't even believe that it used to be a thing. It's ridiculous.
But I don't know too much more than that with like sort of the specifics of that, so to speak. But I guess we'll kind of see it when we see it.
Is it Audrey Hepburn?
Is the lead role? Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I know that.
I think this will be the first time seeing an Audrey Hepburn film, to be honest.
Yeah, same.
So this will be a first for that as well.
Weirdly, this was going to be, even though I hadn't seen the film, it was going to either be The Notebook for my final college year.
Yeah.
Or Breakfast at Tiffany's, even though I hadn't seen it. I was going to watch it to do my project on.
Okay.
But I just didn't. I went with The Notebook and then never saw this film.
Right. Okay.
So you never know, I might actually have wanted to do this one if I'd have seen it.
Maybe. Yeah. All the brief synopsis on Google says is Paul is a struggling writer who recently moves into a new apartment in New York. When he meets Holly, an eccentric but beautiful socialite, he hopelessly falls in love with her.
You better not be falling in love with anyone called Holly, that's for sure, Paul. Unless she's called Sophie.
Don't know any Hollies.
That's alright then. But no, I'm really, you know me, rom-com, old, ticks all my boxes.
Yeah, I've got a feeling it's going to be like a high scoring one for you. And probably for me as well.
Who's the male lead? Is it anyone we know?
It says George Peppard.
No.
I don't know who that is. So.
Not George Bailey, is it?
No. No. So, yeah, looking forward to checking this one out. And we will be back shortly with our thoughts.
Ah, poor slob. Poor slob without a name. The way I look at it, I don't have the right to give him one. We don't belong to each other. We just took up by the river one day. I don't even want to own anything until I can find a place where me and things go together. I'm not sure where that is, but I know what it's like. It's like Tiffany's.
Tiffany's? You mean the jewelry store?
That's right. I'm crazy about Tiffany's.
And we're back. So, what do you reckon, Sophie?
I'm not sure. It's. I really want to love it, but at the same time, the Holly character doesn't sit well with me. With Audrey Hepburn, obviously, she's beautiful, but I just feel like it's one of those typical cliche things that, like, the beautiful girl gets what she wants.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And as I'm an average Joe blogs, so sorry, Paul. You've not got an Audrey Hepburn, have you? So I feel like this is one of those cliche films where it's like, I don't know if it's showing, if you put it on for a child, like that's the right thing to be like, oh yeah, this is how a woman should act. It really isn't. So that does great on me. I wanted to like her a lot more, and
right, yeah. I mean, from her style, there's obviously a lot of this. That's what is most iconic, I think, about the film. Really, the black dress and the jewelry and everything, and the
but the thing is, she dresses like that.
She's got going on,
but she isn't that. So she's so false, isn't she? Like, she's pretending to be something she's not. I think actually she's got mental issues.
But maybe a little bit. I think that's kind of what the film is about, really. The whole kind of like she's trying to find herself in society a little bit, and she's kind of struggling with like finding her place in the world.
I guess that's fine. Like, that's not an issue at all, to like struggling to find where you fit. I think everybody goes through that, and still people won't even know where they are, even if they think they're kind of getting somewhere. But I think it's just she doesn't know who she is, and that's another issue in itself entirely. Like, not knowing where you are in society is fine, but not knowing who you are, and just kind of, she's a bit like a chameleon.
In a sense, yeah.
Yeah.
The way she kind of blends into how to be around a particular person at that moment in time, almost.
Yeah, and I think it's also certain aspects of her, bless her, it's her morals, I guess, are just way out of whack for me. So I obviously clearly favour Paul in this.
Yeah, not just for the name.
No, not just for the name. He's the best part for me.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds really strange because everyone says Audrey Hepburn, Breakfast at Tiffany's. No one mentions Paul or whoever his actor is.
That's true, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, she does a brilliant part at playing an annoying person.
Annoying person. I think she kind of comes across as probably like one of the first examples of, you've heard the term like manic pixie dream girl.
No, I haven't. I thought you were going to say like, you know, when somebody has a sugar daddy. I thought maybe you mean that.
Well, there's a bit of that in with it. Well, you know, like, was it $50 for the powder room?
I think that's extortionate.
But to my point of, when I say manic pixie dream girl, it's like that whimsical, kooky persona that, like, say,
Tinkerbell?
No, not quite. Well, you know the film 500 Days of Summer, and Zooey Deschanel, character Summer. That kind of like oh, you know,
you mean like,
look at me, I'm like super quirky and everything, and it's like, was it I forget, it's Gordon-Levitt's character. I can't actually remember his name, but he's like, you know, like swooning over her basically because it's like, oh, she's so like out there and kooky. That kind of. Maybe
this is a problem. I'm not out there and kooky, so I don't get it. Also, I think she's got a head's in the clouds kind of thing.
That's what I mean by that. Yeah, really. Like a bit, and I guess to a point, like Ramona Flowers from Scott Pilgrim. That kind of like, wow, she's kind of like so not edgy, but you know,
I think I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I think it's more like she's so not in this world that it makes
that's
her
what I mean.
attractive.
It obviously isn't like in a modern context, but in like she's so aloof and just whimsical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at.
No, you're right. But I think because I'm not that, I think I look at her and think, God, you need to get your shit together. Like, literally, that's what I'm looking at. Your apartment's crap. You've got mental issues because you can't even name a frigging cat. Like, hi, cat. And it's like, why can't you attach to anything? What is your problem? She's really got attachment issues.
Mm-hmm. But we kind of get into those as the film goes on a little bit.
I think so, but I still don't think she redeems herself. In all of it that she does, normally you get to the end and you're like, oh, she's done a full circle of, like, growth.
Yeah.
I don't think she's learned anything.
Do you not?
No.
No,
not really. Because she still gets what she wants in the end.
Yeah, but she didn't know what she wanted.
But he was right there. I hate it when girls like that. Like, they get... I love how I'm slagging women off. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't be doing this. But when a girl's like, has a best friend and he's just there and it's like, it's your best friend. He clearly is smitten by you and they just flaunt every guy in front of him until they realise, oh, actually, you're the one I want. And it's like, well, you broke his heart like 20 times probably.
Hmm.
And then this guy just still waits around for you. I don't know, would you wait around for me if I did that? I'm not whimsical enough, am I?
That's what I'm trying to think because of the fact in the film.
Harsh. Oh, right, I see.
Yeah, but I know you're not like that. That's the difference.
That's why I think I have issues with the film. That's the only problem because I'm not like that, so it annoys me.
So, obviously, like the fact that she's kind of like, oh, like we're friends, aren't we, kind of thing.
And then she gets in his bed, like, what the hell?
Beginning. Yeah, that's a bit like where's the boundaries here? This is.
I've just met you, and you're my next door neighbour. I'm sorry, I won't be getting into my bed with my next door neighbour just the first day I see him or second day. Wouldn't.
Yeah, but he's not that bad looking though, is he?
That doesn't condone it, does it? No, he's quite dishy. Yeah. He is. Yeah. But still.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. But throughout the film, it's kind of like that kind of... It's not like a on-off relationship as such, that he still kind of hangs around with her and she's still happy to have him as company, so like sort of friend zone-esque type of thing, but he's not like proper like simping over her. In terms of...
But then there's fine lines where they do certain things where it makes them look like a couple.
For example?
So we're jumping if you're going to ask me an example.
Yeah. It's fine. Jump around.
With the ring, so like going to Tiffany's and it's like, what can you buy for $10?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we're in Tiffany's, you can't buy anything for... Oh, actually, there was a little phone dial.
Yes, sterling silver telephone dialer, yeah.
And it was like, we're wanting something a bit more romantic. I know they're playing at it, but I think he's kind of does get strung along a lot within this, where he thinks, oh, this could be leading to something. And he thinks he's getting somewhere, and then it's like, she builds a wall up again. And brings up another scenario.
Commitment, yeah.
Yeah. I will say, just jumping back to the opening scene, though, that is really classy. She's...
The opening credits, you mean?
Yeah, the first, where she's sat. Well, no, she's gets out of the taxi, doesn't she?
Yeah.
She's obviously in this lovely outfit that is the iconic kind of front cover, wearing black long gloves. Then she's got she's got a little bag with like obviously her breakfast in.
Yeah, it's not so much breakfast at Tiffany's; it's more breakfast outside Tiffany's.
Yeah,
than anything.
Well, this is the thing, because I don't think Tiffany's has a restaurant or anything like that. It really doesn't. It's not like Harrods where it's like a fancy-ish place and you could get something probably to eat there. Mm-hmm. Which is, because Harrods is massive. It's got so many things. It's not just jewellery.
Sure.
Whereas this, it's like so vague. But yeah, the opening like credits with her eating her pastry or croissant or whatever it is with her coffee. And it's like, she still looks perfect even though she's got a pastry in her hands. And everybody knows a pastry is flipping flaky. It gets everywhere. There is not one single ounce of pastry on her.
Yeah, she eats it so delicately.
Yeah, and it's like, where's the crumbs? Come on. I mean, was there somebody on the set sweeping it off her? Like, there must have been, because, like, no one eats a pastry like that. Unless I just eat it absolutely dog-like.
It depends if it's got anything inside. Because if it oozes out, then she wouldn't be like, going, oh, no, look, got it down my nice dress.
No, but they're flaky.
I know, yeah.
But she makes it look flawless. I think there's a bit of envy, probably.
There is, yeah. Clearly. But I think this seems like she's come from like a, what's it, kind of like walk of shame type of thing. Again, I think she seems to be like hopping to and fro in these people and like paying for the services of being around her in some way, shape or form.
Yeah, it's not like she's more like an escort, I think. Is it like she's not really like sleeping with them, I don't think. But I think she's just pretty to have on the arm. Yeah,
I think it's more that I'd like to think more than actually like proper sleazy.
Yeah. Even though I think they want that.
Yeah. Because
in the end, once they've had a couple of drinks, they think, I've paid my worth. I want the extra credit. And that's when she has a lot of times where she's having to shut the door on them and they're banging the door down.
Yeah.
And it's like, really? Is that a life? Like, she's just chasing money after rich man after rich man.
Yeah, she kind of flits between various scenarios of thinking, what's the best way to get, a quick buck, essentially, really, and just, like, live the high life that she... It's crazy the fact that she has all these, like, smart clothes and stuff, yet her apartment is very mishmash and very bare bones.
Literally, there's nothing in it.
A chair that's like half a bathtub and stuff, which, again, that's so quirky. Like an avant-garde or, in some stylish antique shop or something, you'd see that and be like, wow, this is, like, amazing. I want to get it type of thing.
No.
These days. But I do like... that I know the cat just has that as his name and everything.
Hi, cat.
But he's a bit of a character though, isn't he? You kind of like when he kind of has those glimpses of him, just like you're just focusing on him. It's like, what's he gonna do now? Kind of thing. Like
the cat deserves a name.
It does.
I think this is my problem, and even at the end, it's like I really wanted it to have a name.
What if you were to give it a name? Do you have one that comes to mind?
Well, do you think it's a boy or a girl?
I think it's a boy, if I was to pick a gender.
I thought it was a boy. I don't know why.
Quite bulky.
Yeah.
Ish.
I don't know. Like, Marty. I don't know. It would have to be a classy name, wouldn't it?
Jeffrey or something.
Yeah, something classy. It wouldn't be like Paul, that's for sure.
I mean, if I was to think of like some sort of logical like name, because of the fact that she has a very strong connection with the name Fred, particularly because of her brother that she seems to totally adore, and because of the fact that she refers to Paul as Fred because, you look like my brother.
Who would say that? And who would get away with calling someone Fred for ages? Like, why would you want to if you fancy him as well? Like, if there's going to be a relationship.
I think she says that just before she like, can I come lie down next to you in bed? And like, okay, that's weird, isn't it?
I want you to be my brother.
Yeah. So I would think like by the end of the film, be like, or at some point I'll call you Fred, because there's a point later on in the film where she has like a big breakdown to know from a telegram that her brother who was supposed to come back from the army has died basically, and so therefore I would think, if you were to name the cat anything, to call it Fred, in remembrance of him or something for that attachment. I don't know,
but she's not that kind of person, is she?
No.
That's the problem. Like, any normal person would think, yes, you should be called Fred, but she'll still go through her life calling it Cat, probably.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit fickle with her happy place being Tiffany's. Like, nothing bad happens at Tiffany's. Well, what about a robbery? Pretty sure Tiffany's will get robbed, but
that's true.
Some poor cashier will be held at gunpoint. but nothing bad happens at Tiffany's.
For the most part, yeah. That's what she means. Just like anywhere you could say, oh, nothing bad happens in like a big, like, you know, like a tropical island on a beach, except for when the storm hits or...
Oh, a shark eats you.
yeah, exactly. Or any kind of stuff like that.
See, I'm always the worst case scenario kind of girl. So I'm like, I just thought, for me, my happy place is my home. I can control what happens in my home.
To an extent, yeah. If you leave the hob on, or, I don't know, leave your straighteners on the thing and unplug that.
Control that, can't I?
Well, not if you forget.
I'm not going to have somebody coming into my house, well, hope touch wood. I hope not. You know, but like...
That's what I mean by that.
Yeah, I guess. But it's you're more in control, whereas you're deeming a place to make you happy. Yeah. Which I think shows actually looking at it from not a film perspective, but actually the character has a lot of problems within it, really, which I don't know if they thought when they were filming this that that's what they were highlighting, or if it was this whimsical person.
It's based off a book, like most things, so I don't know how the screenplay differs too much from the book itself, but I guess it's how it reflects in the book, I suppose. So I don't, you know, the writer was thinking of these things, but that's for the story.
Yeah, it builds. Don't get me wrong; she's a brilliant character. Do I love her? No. Am I envious of her? A little, because she's got class. Like, you can't take that away from her.
The beauty, I can understand why she's such an icon.
Really. Yeah.
So when I was going like through the film, I wasn't like struck by it straight away. It kind of took a bit of warming up to really throughout the film to kind of get sort of like enjoy, if that makes sense.
No, I agree completely.
Yeah. It's in comparison to something we've seen few weeks back now, which was The Apartment. I'm going to say like I enjoyed that a lot more than I did this one, which is kind of shocking considering this is like one of the most iconic Audrey Hepburn films.
Yeah.
Out there, really. So I guess I was going in with high expectations, I suppose, a little bit.
And it's a classic. It's like...
Because the fact that there's some like quotable lines and stuff, of course, because it's like one of those Hollywood cinema classics type of thing. But there's not the wit in terms of, you know, with the dialogue or the stuff or anything like that. Nothing like that. It's like, oh yeah, that's brilliant or genius or... If that makes sense.
No, it does. And I think sometimes the dialogue, I normally really enjoy it in older films, the dialogue. Yeah. Whereas this was like a little bit bitty, and I don't know if they were trying to cram too much in, but it just felt like a slow burner. In a sense, yeah. Really. I get where you're coming from with the dialogue. I don't feel like it was as... like punchy. Yeah. In that kind of witty way. Yeah. Which I thought she would have been a little bit more for the kooky kind of character she's portraying. Yeah, that's what I mean. And I think I just don't really gel with, like, for example, there's another job that she does where she gets paid £100 for like an hour. Well, sorry, $100. Yeah. For an hour to visit a man that's in jail and give him the weather report. Well, clearly they're doing a scam thing, which get highlighted later. Yeah. And she's just so naive with like, oh, well, I just give him I ask for the weather report, and then she tells somebody else and she doesn't think anything of it because she's just getting £100 easily for an hour. Dollars. It's almost like you say about the naivety of it, really. It's, you don't know all the time whether that is the case or she's just so blasé about situations. Like the fact when she kind of is rumbled about that whole like, goes in, Sally or whatever his name is, in jail, and when she gets like taken in into custody and everything, and she's kind of so like, oh, cool, calm and collected about the situation, like she's been taken into the police station, is just like acting like, oh, this is fine, no problem here, type of thing. And like people taking ask like, oh, just one at once, I'll answer all your questions, just one at once. Yeah, like she's paparazzi or something. Yeah, and she thinks she's just on this other level, like she's a celebrity or something. I think that's what she was thinking ahead. Yeah. So I think this is quite funny. So when she's kind of saying to Fred or Paul, whichever we want to call him, that we're friends, aren't we? Yes. And then she's like, I hate snoops.
Yeah, this is when she's having like a bad dream and she wakes up and I believe he's asking like, is everything alright or something, like, what's the matter? Kind of thing, like a concerned person.
Yeah.
With me, and she's like, no, you can't. You're asking too many questions here, type of thing, and it's like, no, I'm not. I'm just concerned for you. That's all it is. So again, that's showing right from there. It's like a fear of like opening up to somebody or anybody. In fact, even if you feel comfortable with that person, she's not comfortable in sharing her emotions.
Just builds that wall up higher and higher.
Yeah.
So they have this house party as well.
Mm.
And this kind of introduces this kind of other guy that we've got upstairs, the neighbour.
Yeah, so this was the very racist stereotype of a Japanese person, Mr. Yunioshi. I really don't see what he added, particularly the him being that ethnicity, to be honest. Fine, you could have an angry, annoyed neighbour, but it didn't have to be a Japanese man. It certainly didn't have to be one who, a person pretending to be a Japanese with all the teeth and the
He looked so weird. He really did. He didn't look right, like, for any human being. No. I don't know what you're trying to portray, because it doesn't look Japanese at all. And then it's like, being on a futon, fine, that's not an issue. But the light above the bed, like, keep hitting into it. It's like, well, why the hell's it even there?
Yeah, it's like, just a bit of a comical
But
thing.
it wasn't...
and he was doing all the stupid... it doesn't make a lot of sense, really.
It was really frustrating, even though the fact that they were trying to portray a Japanese man, but then also just his character in himself, like, even if he was just a normal person, not trying to portray as something else, then I still think it didn't add much value to the story for me, and it kind of... He grated on me.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
As a character, and I'd like to think that even if they were trying to portray it as an Englishman, he would still kind of get on my nerves.
I think so, but probably be less frowned upon in a sense. It's just for the stereotype it's going for whatever reason. I really don't know why who greenlit that as that's fine, go ahead with that.
Well, back in the day, things like that were more acceptable, which...
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's right, but
no.
To them, they probably wouldn't have even blinked an eyelid.
No. But you can only, look past and go, let's not do this again, type of thing. We could see that this is wrong, but it still leaves a bit of a sour taste when watching this, especially after the first time. I kind of, like to say, I knew there was something, but it's like how it was coming across. It's like, it's not in a good way. Because and especially for the fact, like, it doesn't, him being involved in it didn't affect the plot a great deal. No,
it really didn't. It didn't add anything. If anything, it was just more cringy moments that I just didn't enjoy.
Yeah.
But it's when she's at the party, obviously she's having like a housewarming. There's too many people in that building. It's like coronavirus, it's just not a thing. Like, I don't think I could stand it. The amount of people in there, like, you can't even move and you have to scrape past. Do my head in. And Paul obviously attends.
Yeah.
And he's like kind of sorting everything out and fixing everything for her. Mm-hmm. Which, like, she doesn't even realise is doing, really. He's like kind of her carer.
Yeah.
So she's got this long, I forgot what they're called, where you put like a cigarette holder in, but it's like ridiculous.
Yeah,
Why was that even a thing back in the day? Like, it's just such a hazard.
Well, it was, in fact, in was one scene, wasn't there? It was like, she's got it on, again, like a comedic bit where, she's got the cigarette lit and it's just about to set fire to somebody's, like, hat. And he's like, Paul's like, no, let me just get over there. And then someone knocks a drink and it puts it out and it's like, oh, phew. That's...
But the amount of times that she near enough had mishaps with it, like, the cat at one point was looking like it was going to swipe it because she kept on wingling it around. Yeah. And he's like looking at it and I'm thinking, oh God, is this going to get whacked somewhere? And it's just like, I just don't know. And I know it's like meant to be like classy but why do you need it so far away? If you don't want to smoke it or smell it, then just don't.
Yeah.
You don't need it on a big long stick.
Just again, some of the time, I suppose.
A fad.
Be interesting to see somebody with that these days.
It'd be ridiculous. You can have smaller ones, which is fine, because maybe it's like sometimes, depending on what the cigarette was, it could stain your fingers, like if it's...
Yes, that's true.
But it doesn't need to be that long. No. You could have a smaller one. But it's just, obviously, is it the longer it is, the classier you are? I don't know.
Possibly. So if you want the length of the room, then you're really, really classy.
Yeah. Imagine that, having to blow on it to get it across.
It'd take a while to get there.
Yeah.
Don't know. Be interesting if there was on like a a spliff or something that length. It was like get a real like blow back or draw back.
Really, you'd think of that, wouldn't you? I don't even thought of that. So Paul, bless him, is God love a Paul. Everyone has to have a Paul in their life, don't they? He's a nice guy who's obviously Holly's decided to kind of go with this rich guy who's not even like handsome. He's like
He's a bit of a
weasel.
Well, she refers to him as a rat, and a lot of people are to her basically. Which I kind of think there's some kind of like metaphor there, because in the sense that because she refers to the fact much later on that her and the cat are almost like one and the same. They're kind of like non-entities, like they're just
flowing around
kind of thing.
They don't belong to anyone.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that was the sentence. Yeah, something along the line. They don't belong to anyone, and we don't belong to each other, or something like that.
Can't be caged.
Yeah. So I think there's that parallel with the fact that she's aloof like a cat is, and she's chasing the rats, and she's trying to find the best rat that's going to be the I don't know, sufficient meal for her, in a sense, a meal ticket. Perhaps.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Being like monetary meal.
Yeah.
Because she wants the most richest rat.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Like going with somebody who you don't even really like, flirting with them and everything like that just for the money. I just think the moral of this story is not great.
And later on, someone else who was at the party is like, "Oh, I'll just go with this chase after this other guy who's Jose from Brazil, I think it was." And it's like, oh well, yeah, he's much more my type, in quotation marks, because he's crazy about me type of thing. And it's like, is he really? Is he just like, maybe it's like a green card type thing where it's because he was like, when the police would come around to the apartment before, he was like, oh, I've got to get out of here kind of thing. It's like, what are you doing?
And Paul was the one that was
bailing him out. Yeah.
And then gets kind of kicked in the face again when he comes back on the scene.
Yeah.
Also, on that scene where the police, she's going out with the other rat at this point, trying to get his money. Yeah. She just dubs all her friends in and goes, oh, yes, the party's up there. And then she swan these off. Yeah. And didn't even care. And it's like, don't know if there's no care in the world for her about anyone apart from herself.
It's true. Well, she hasn't got many possessions in that apartment anyway. She's not worried about the damage and stuff that's going on in there, so she's kind of like, yeah, whatever.
But what about the people, like your friends?
Yeah, but they just flock to her for whatever reason. Yeah, they do. Take it as it is.
So, going to Paul, he does have a little bit of a history. He seems to be, he's got a mistress, hasn't he?
Yeah, something to do with, it seems like the publisher or something is like, she's a bit on the side and kind of like keeping him in the publishing world, in a sense, like paying him off, because that's like when Holly kind of like comes up the fire escape and sees that there's like, oh, she's left some money on the side for Paul as she heads out the door, and then she's like, oh, can I come into the room or whatever at the beginning and everything, and it's a bit like, what's your deal here really?
Is she like sleeping with him but paying for it?
Yeah, it's the other way around, isn't it? It's kind of like
because it makes it feel that way, especially when there's that man kind of lurking outside the house, or the apartment. Yeah. And she's kind of getting a bit conspicuous and thinking, oh, it's my husband. So she's married. Mm-hmm. It's kind of coming and checking on us. So I'm wondering if she thinks like he's hired a spy, but it's actually to do with Holly.
Yeah, her actual husband.
So I'm wondering if that is like they are having a bit of an affair.
Yeah.
Because they say like, well, at the end, he kind of tries to end it with her.
Yeah,
And it feels like more like a relationship than business, doesn't it?
yeah. It's come to that way. But her Holly's real name is what, Lula May?
Like, it always just made me think of a Who. Like Cindy Lou Who, or like Lula.
Really whimsical-ish name.
Who's the... Oh, I'm going to have to bear with us. The, maybe it is. You know, the one that the Grinch goes out with?
Oh, isn't it Lula May? I think it is.
I feel like it might be. Or Lula May Who, or something like that. And it just pops into my head.
No, Martha May. I think it's Martha May.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, Martha May.
Yeah,
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
It just pops into my head as a Who. And she could actually play a Who, her character. She's that quite whimsical, kind of like Who-like.
Yeah.
Not as friendly as a Who, though.
No, she can't anymore.
Yes, I know.
But
so she was 14 years old when she married Doc.
Horse Doctor.
Horse Doctor.
Yeah. Well,
I just wrote him down as Doc.
All right. Yeah, Doc GoLightly. What?
Like Doc GoLightly. Like, go lightly on what?
Yeah, well, that's what his name is, so.
I just think this one's a bit of a strange one, though, to be fair. This relationship is like she's like half his age.
Yeah, it does. Again, I think that kind of like almost like sugar daddy type thing going on there, really. She's probably, again, lost soul back in Texas, and he's kind of like, well, now I guess I'll kind of take you in and you can...
Be my wife.
Yeah. And
it just shows a different class to life back then, a little bit, with how women were...
I mean, I'm pretty sure that kind of stuff still goes on.
Yeah, but...
To this day.
I think women definitely have... I know it probably does in other countries, but like luckily, majority of them, it wouldn't be as bad as that.
No. But that's kind of short-lived anyway. She's kind of like, she's got it in her head that he's kind of just... What was it? Annulled?
Yeah. So that's like... They got married, but they never consummated the marriage. So it's kind of just can easily annul it.
Yeah.
But what she says, I never know what to believe. Like, is she telling the truth, or is she just making up her version of the truth? Because she gets called a phony.
Yeah, by a lot of these people at the party and stuff. So it's a professional phony or whatever. So they kind of know what to expect.
Yeah.
From her, really, and.
Like a real phony, but she believes what she's saying. So it's like she even lies to herself that she gets to a point that she actually believes what she's saying is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm rubbish at lying, so I can't lie at all. Like, it's just written over my face if I lie. Whereas she can just be like an addictive liar.
Compulsive liar is the...
Addictive. But I think this is quite a sad scene where Doc is like, obviously wanting her to come back with him. Fred's meant to be coming out of the army.
Yeah.
And she's like, I love you. I'm just not Lulu May anymore. And he's like, that's really confusing, that sentence, to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, I know you as Lulu May, and I love you. But she's like, I do love you, but I'm not who you think I am anymore.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I know people change.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not the same person you met when you first saw me.
Vice versa, yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean you can't grow together.
Well, she doesn't want to grow with him. She thinks she's maybe found where she needs to be in New York. And that's her place now. And this is her persona that she's kind of going with in the lifestyle.
As.
Yeah, but it's still not quite working out for her, really. It's still not enough. And she needs some sort of stability with things, monetary in particular, because there's nowhere that's apparently as safe and comforting as Tiffany's for her. She said, like, if I could find somewhere that is like that, then I'd be able to have nice furniture and name the cat.
Settling down, isn't it?
So she hasn't got a home to call home and be like, I feel safe here. This is just a spot where I lay my head and feed myself and
That's it.
takes a drink and all that kind of stuff.
It's quite sad, really, isn't it, when you think about it that way?
Yeah.
I will say one thing, though.
Mm.
They don't use doors in this film. Like, they're always going through the fire escape and through flipping windows, and it's like, what the hell? There's a door. Use it. Like, I know they forget the keys a bit.
Quite often, yeah.
But she just thinks it's easier to just go through the fire escape and climb through his window.
Quirky.
Oh, God. Sick of that word.
That's the best way to describe the situation, because, yeah, like, you wouldn't normally just clamber out windows to go and see somebody, but I guess if you're in apartments and stuff, and it's just like, well, just another means of getting to and from, hanging out, going hello, whatever, sitting, playing the guitar, or whatever, lute.
Ukulele?
Yeah, whatever instrument she was playing, form of guitar she was playing and singing Moon River.
Is it not Blue River?
No, it's Moon River.
Oh. Been singing that wrong for ages.
Really?
Blue River. Well, it makes more sense, doesn't it, than Moon River. Rivers are blue. Why are you laughing at me?
That's true, but that's not what the song's called.
I don't know what to say.
I don't know either, but that's what it's called.
I don't believe you. So there is part of this that I think me and you should do, which we kind of do in this podcast anyways.
And that is?
We should try things that neither one of us have done, which technically I do every week.
Yeah, that's true.
So what do you do that?
Well, I do every other week now, don't I?
No, but that's for both of us. This is taking it in turns of what she likes and what he likes.
Yeah, but that whole sequence, I was expecting a bit more from that, to be honest. A bit like a modern day thing where it'd be like let's do a load of things neither of us have done or whatever. And then there'd be like a whole montage, like a short clip, but it'd be like in like not necessarily like a sitcom thing, but you do get those sometimes, don't you? Like whimsical, like cutaways, so like short bits and like, I don't know, say example, like, this is an example of doing things that you haven't done before, but going to get ice cream, going down to the bar having a drink and stuff, and then like playing frisbee in the park or something, I don't know. Those kind of things. Like you just like a couple of 1, 2, 3, 4 things shown in a montage of sorts.
It was
so
long-winded, wasn't it, compared to that? Yeah.
I was expecting something along those lines, where it's kind of like some music, and then like them, I don't know, going laughing in a cutaway of something, and then going to the next thing, and so on and so forth. But it was kind of like just basically 2 things.
I can remember obviously her going to Tiffany's, and then in return, Paul took her to the library. And
then, the Tiffany's wasn't something new. The new thing for him was going to the 5 and 10 or whatever and stealing something from there.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Like, why is that a great option? Like, why couldn't they have gone ice skating, like, or something like that? Like, that's something I've never done. Not something I really want to do, but
Well, exactly. Neither would I. I've never done it, but I don't want to do something like that. But in that sequence, anyway, there's a thing with a mask. Again, there's a cat mask in particular for her. So again, that's kind of in the theory of her being similar vein of how the cat is.
And then obviously Paul was a dog, which is loyal.
Yes.
He wants to stick by her and do good by her, and he kind of feels like he's got a purpose now. It's to kind of look after her. He's taken her on like his responsibility. And like that's his new kind of goal, is to make sure she's all right.
Yeah. Well, it's at the moment as well that they kind of have the like the kiss, don't they? So there's kind of like they'll lift the mask up and like, I kind of realise, there's some feelings going on here and that's thing. But then after that, it's kind of like she goes back to being cold.
Yeah, and then she goes, basically,
like, I'm going to marry the rich guy now.
And he's like, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, I thought we were going to be a thing. And I just feel like by the end of it, she doesn't deserve Paul. I kind of didn't want her to have it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know I love a good romance, but not when somebody's like that. They don't deserve it.
And were you also upset? But they've like coming to the very end now, where it's kind of like she lets go of the cat, and the cat's like, "Get out, cat!"
It's
And
horrible.
it's like in the pissing down rain.
It's so horrible. I was like, how could you? What kind of person does that? I was like, I straight away went, well, I hope Paul goes and gets a cat. I don't care if she don't have it because clearly she don't want it. Well, that's fine. But somebody needs to look after the cat. So at least, if anything, Paul gets out of this is a free cat, then fair enough.
Yeah.
It's not right. I can't even comprehend, like, who would do that to a cat. There's probably some people out there that are horrible enough to do that. And really, I would never want to meet them.
No, I agree with you. Although it's not like... I mean, it was kind of a stray anyway. So it was... I'm not like condoning the fact, oh yeah, just chuck it out in the street and that's that. But it's obviously got more of a chance, even if she was to be like, go off into the distance and never see it again. At least be like, well, at least it's kind of knows the streets kind of thing.
But then that's like being a stray and then having the comforts of a house and then being back to a stray. It's like you've gone back to where you came from. No one wants to go backwards.
No, of course not. No.
And that poor cat, you know.
Yeah. But no, it's short-lived anyway.
It is, but
obviously
it's piss wet through by the time.
Yeah.
And I know that cats don't like rain or water.
No.
But to be fair, when she does find it, because she comes to her senses.
Yeah. Yes, because Paul has that engraved ring that he kind of like gives to her, like, right, well, don't know when I was going to holding on to this for weeks or whatever, and just leaves it with that in the taxi. And it's like, then she kind of realises, like, oh, well, this is who I'm supposed to be with. Yeah.
So fickle.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, my cat. But still, after that, she shouldn't name it. But God, this cat does not wriggle. Like, if I held Arthur like that, it'd be out of my arms in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Even if he was, or certainly if he was wet, be like, oh, you want to get dry somewhere. Well,
and it's like, well, if you stop squiggling, we can get you dry. But no, that cat doesn't.
Well trained, yeah. Obviously, it wouldn't work if it was in a normal situation. It obviously had to be trained in some way. They must have done something to keep it still, basically, or
and
subdued.
maybe it just loved being hugged.
Maybe, but who knows?
But I know cats are temperamental.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not like the cat was like when she picked it up, found it in one of the boxes, and it like ran off again. It was kind of like, oh no, you've got me. You like hold me, kind of.
Yeah, it was really cute.
Yeah, here's been the third wheel.
Yeah, it was. I think one of us, if that was me and you and Arthur, one of us would have got scratched and we would be bleeding.
Yeah.
Poppy, however, she was our third wheel. She was a stray. Yeah. And I do think sometimes the stray cats are just so much more loyal. They've had a hardship and they just really do love you for that home and comfort and safe space.
Yeah. But that, obviously, the music's swelling, and at that point, was there any like, this is so romantic kind of thing? But did you have that kind of sense that I think obviously the final closing point of the film, and I think that's one of those things that people are like, oh, that's really really nice. No, you not feel that? No,
there's no tear jerkers or anything like that. It was predictable that it was going to happen, and she didn't deserve it. I really wanted to enjoy this so much, but I think it is enjoyable, but her character grates on me 100%. Just because her morals are just way out of whack.
Okay.
And Paul doesn't deserve her. Well, no, she doesn't deserve Paul.
No.
But enjoyable to watch. I would watch it again.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely would. I'll give that before I'll give the final score of it. But before I do give my score, obviously I'm going to do a bit, again, sort of comparing it to The Apartment a little bit. With how that ended, in particular, obviously, that she was kind of like a bit of a fickle-ish kind of character, and she kind of like, she did all the messing around, but she still got what she wanted at the end, and even though it wasn't really deserved. Do you see any
there is similarities, 100%. But I feel like she's more redeemable.
Yeah.
From The Apartment, to be fair. I feel like she's going through a lot and she's beating herself up, and she doesn't really kind of encourage it as much.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at, because the fact that, because obviously she's like, oh, sitting around, whatever. And then it's like, try to commit suicide and everything. And then Baxter's characters in that is like trying to like, fix her up and everything. And
Yeah.
kind of
I don't think she leads him on, really. He knows that he's kind of a non-entity, really, because she's so hung up on this other guy. So it's kind of Baxter's fault a little. Whereas I think Holly, or Audrey Hepburn, knows Paul will do anything for her, and so she'll let him.
Right. Okay.
And I think she uses a lot of other people as well in this. Like, obviously, just going out with men and expecting a £50 for powder room, £50 for a taxi. She made £100 just to go out with somebody for the night. Yeah. And then the same with, I feel like just she's a lot more scammier and... Yeah. Whereas one in the apartment, at least she's got a job and, she actually pays her bills and can...
you got a sense of herself, yeah. In a sense, a character that's, where you're at with her, yeah.
She's just down in a luck with love, not down in luck in her life.
Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I just wanted to bring that up as a comparative thing. So, with that said, I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I might. Mm-hmm. I gave The Apartment 8.5. It's going to be lower than that for this, Breakfast at Tiffany's. It's like, I feel like, well, it should be high because it's like a classic, but it didn't strike me as much as I thought it would, really, thinking, oh, this is amazing type of thing. Like, I can see why people really love this.
Yeah, it's kind of going with really, like, high hopes with it, I think, and then you're kind of a bit disappointed. Yeah. You think, oh, this is meant to be really great, and then your expectations don't seem to meet because you expect more.
Yeah, there's not to take away too much from the film itself. There's just, obviously, there's the odd things like the stereotypical caricature of the Japanese man being one, obviously, drop on the points, really. And just the way the dialogue and stuff came across didn't grab me or intrigue me too much, really. It was kind of more the back end when things kind of ramped up a little bit. Well, almost like majority of the way of the film through wasn't really gripping me as such. It was like, I wanted a bit more from her, really, in terms of a free spirit character, I guess. But I think I'm going to give it 7.5.
Really? Okay. That's interesting. Do you know what I gave The Apartment?
You gave that a 9.
Okay, yeah.
But mine, if it saw it again, it might increase. I don't know. But I've got a feeling it's probably going to just sit at that, really.
I know I gave The Apartment a 9 and Singing in the Rain a 10.
Yeah, I think The Apartment will go up in my books as no more I see it, but I can see that being this one, not so much.
It's hard because I wanted to really enjoy this, and I really thought I was going in thinking, oh yeah, classic,
from
old film, it's going to be brilliant. It's going to be romance. It's ticking all the right boxes, but there's just a couple of things. Holly as a character, she just, all the morals are way out of whack. I know, obviously, you create these characters who can be like a damsel in distress and needs saving. Yeah. But just the way she went about things, she was like, well, a sleazeball and a bit of definitely a phony. It's hard because it's like, it is a good film. Like, if you don't go by your morals and don't go by, she doesn't deserve Paul, then it is enjoyable to watch if you can kind of take that away. Obviously, if you take away the Japanese racist part as well, that'd be great. Yeah. And it is your kind of typical cliche romance. You kind of know where it's going, though. None of it really surprises you.
No, I think that's where with rom-coms, you kind of know what the outcome is going to be. That's why certainly more modern ones, you kind of like, oh, we know exactly where this is going.
Beat for beat.
But
whereas The Apartment, I feel like, I didn't think she was going to commit suicide over a man. Didn't think she was going to get herself.
That. But you ultimately, you kind of knew they were going to get
together in the end.
But that worked a lot better, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there's more charm to that.
I think it's going to have to be... I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I can't put it as at an 8, like even a score less, because I know personally I enjoyed The Apartment, Singing in the Rain way more than this, and sadly it is down to the character. I wanted to so badly love it though, because it's so iconic.
Yeah.
The Moon River, not Blue River, music at the beginning, and how it's kind of dotted around like it's just like her theme.
Yes.
Like, that's her as a song. And it's really... There are so many clever things the way they've done it. And the shots and stuff like that. But it's just... I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it gripped me as much as I really wished it would.
No, I know. Yeah. So, what is she...
7.5. I'm going with you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, I thought I'd said that.
No, you kind of said...
I said it in my head, but not out loud, probably.
Okay. Yeah. So 7.5, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Well, there we have it. A classic that is maybe not as high ranking as we thought, really, sadly. But in our eyes, anyway, that might be different for other people. But
yeah, please let us know if there's something we have missed or why somebody really enjoys it. Always open to other people's opinions, obviously really insightful. Yeah. We're easily persuaded as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I know I can be, but it's... sometimes I do feel like, am I really like a cynical asshole with film scoring? Sometimes, like certain things, like, well, why aren't you rating it higher? And that's way too high for that kind of film.
No, because it's your opinion. That's at the end of the day.
Yeah. But there we are. That's
like food critiques. I feel like that's one of those things. It's biased. Like if somebody didn't like prawns, are you going to mark somebody down? Just because it's personal preference. That's literally it.
Oh, anyway, with that being said, I'm wrapping it up. Thank you very much for listening to this episode once again. And if you'd like to listen to some of our other episodes, you can go find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser, Good Pods, and pretty much wherever else you might get your podcasts from.
So you can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook under the handle SP_filmviewers.
And if you'd like to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts as well, that'd be very much appreciated. Helps us get out there in the podcasting world to new listeners and the like. And we do have a Buy Me a Coffee page as well if you'd like to make a small donation to our cause. That'd be very much appreciated, of course. Cover the rising electricity costs.
Yeah, we're plugging the microphone in. No, any little bit that you can do is always appreciated, even if it's a like, a comment, or just a follow. We really are easily pleased. So thank you for everyone who listens and all your support.
Yeah. Thank you very much for listening once again, and we will speak to you next time.
Speak to you next time.
Bye now.
Bye.
Bye.